right. And hey there, hi there, ho there, everyone. And good afternoon and evening. And so, welcome to Cayenne Wellness Center's Author's Corner. So, we're delighted to have you. And before we actually turn things over to Renee Kirby, who is our moderator today, and Genesis Jones, our author, just wanted to introduce myself and Cayenne Wellness Center. And again, thank you for being with us. So, my name is Dr. Carolyn Rowley, and I am the Executive Director, founder of Cayenne Wellness Center here in California, where we take care of persons living with sickle cell disease and their families. And we do quite a bit in terms of education, support, advocacy. We have transportation, and we provide other care coordinated resources like our CAP program. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm thankful for our compassionate team, particularly our community health workers. So this is your first time joining us. Welcome, and those of you who've been on before, good to see you again. And as always, you can always put your if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the chat. So we are streaming in various places. I do want to make mention that there's a few things coming up right now. If you haven't already registered, not too late. It's happening in Texas, and it is the upcoming authors upcoming Warriors Convention by Sickle Cell Community Consortium, also known as SC3. And so that's coming up next week. So it is not too late to be able to register for that and join them both in person as well as virtually. So, Warriors Convention right around the corner in the next few days. Following that is Cayenne Wellness Centers. Even though we've been doing the summit for 17 years, it is named the 15th annual Sickle Cell Disease Educational Summit. Our theme is that we are honoring um, the giants, the pioneers, and the visionaries, those literally who were on the ground doing all the work before we even knew what was going on. So we're really excited by the giants that are going to be joining us during the conference. And we want to let them know, we want to pick their brain and have interviews with them because they were there and now they're in their 80s and 90s. So we're honoring the giants in sickle cell and then the other question is, and are we where they wanted us to be? So that's the question that you're going to have to uh, participate in and see, and then be able to answer that question for yourselves. All right. So that's just a few of the things that's actually coming up. And now I would like to have the tech team bring in Renee, our moderator for this afternoon. Hey, Renee, how you doing?
Hello, how are you, Dr. Riley?
You know
And
what? I'm great. I'm great. It's been a busy day because if you were with us this morning, we started our Ask the Expert at least an hour early instead of 9 a.m., 8 a.m. It was very wonderful. It was very wonderful. So if you've missed it, you must look at the recording. So I've been here for quite some time, and I'm glad that we're here in the afternoon. It's a Friday. I heard that there's a heat wave going across from Florida to California. So hopefully you're inside with your air and here joining us. So one of the reasons why I love Arthur's Corner is that we celebrate those living with sickle cell disease, the caregivers, to write books. It makes a world of difference. This is a different way of learning. And my only thing is, in addition to adding to your sickle cell gear in terms of your t shirts and things, get your book collection going. and we featured some great authors. I'm going to turn things over to our moderator, and then I'll be coming back in for the conversation. Renee?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are proud to present to you today Genesis Jones, the author poet of Rebirth and Resilient. And just a little bit about Genesis. She's a warrior and also ambassador for several organizations. And her book today, Resilient, is about rebuilding relationships after having just a rebuilding of your mind and relationships after going through pain mentally and physically simultaneously. So we are so excited to have with us Genesis Jones.
Thank you, Renee, for that excellent introduction, and nice to see you. How are you?
Well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad to be here speaking about my book, Resilient. Yes, it is reflections of my sickle cell journey and my mental health battle that I had before my transplant. So I'm glad to be here and share a little bit more about the book itself. So I would love to just dive in and kind of share a little bit more about it. So let's get started. So I wanted to start from the beginning of the book and kind of explain how I started from the beginning at the breaking point of my sickle cell pain and the start of my down spiral of just being in constant pain, and how I didn't have the tools I needed to handle being in the chronic pain and sickle cell, and how the mental battle started. So the first poem is called "I'm Broken." So I'm broken. I'm sitting on the bathroom floor alone. I feel lonely, hopeless, and abandoned. All things I felt before, but it's different this time. I've been hurt too many times. I felt these emotions once too much, and now I'm broken. Starting to cry, I know for sure I'm breaking slowly. How do you fit something that's broken, that hurts too much, and not be hurt by it? They're coming down like a flood that a desert has never seen. When they go into my mouth, they don't taste like water, but bitter salt. I need help, but I know it will only cause problems for others. Would it even work this time? Would I even try? I'm broken. So, as I continue to work through my pain and my mental health battle, I was still dealing with a lot physically and going through in and out of the hospital. So, the next poem that I wanted to share with you guys is called Break. And I feel like this poem resembles the chronic pain that we as warriors can go through, and how you feel like how sometimes you want to give up on the fight, but sometimes you have to just keep going. So this is called Break. I feel as if my body will break with every step I take. My brain will explode with every pound it makes. And every pill I take slowly makes me fade away. This endless cycle is how my body works, constantly fighting against itself. And for what? One day it will stop fighting, and I won't fight anymore to keep going. Break. Now, this is like when I'm in a really deep state of physical pain and mental pain. So I still don't have the tools I need to kind of mentally build myself back up. So I'm just really going through it right now. The next poem, again, open it. The next poem is called It's Like a Bruise. And this is what I felt like depression felt like when I was going through it, and how I could never escape it physically and mentally. It's like a bruise. Depression is like a bruise that never goes away. A bruise in your mind. You just got to be careful not to touch it where it hurts. It's always there though. I'm tired and pain and have actually been really depressed lately. I can't sleep because I'm constantly fighting with my thoughts and in physical pain. While you're falling asleep, I'm crying. While you're dreaming, I'm contemplating whether or not to hurt myself more. It seems to get worse at night, and all I can do is continue to fight. I'm tired of fighting for things that hurt me and constantly struggling to keep myself together. I don't mean to shut down when I get like this, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way. When you're always struggling, you start to feel numb from your surroundings. It's like a bruise. Yeah, that one's kind of really deep, but so through this, I was starting to get therapy, and my family was starting to help me with the things I was experiencing, not only physically, but also mentally, which I think was really helpful. And I think you have to first acknowledge what you're feeling and also get help. So the next poem is called "What's the Matter." And this poem is about how sometimes we don't even know we are depressed when things are, going good, or, you're sad, but you don't know why. So this is called What's the Matter. You know how you ask me what's the matter, and I tend to say nothing? That's because it's easier to say nothing at all than try to explain something that I don't even understand. The voices in my head, the need to isolate, and the urge to cry every time something happens. I'm usually depressed for no reason or in an episode, triggered by the smallest things. And when I get like this, people tend to take it personally, like I don't want to talk or don't enjoy their company. I personally don't enjoy myself. What's the matter?
That's it's. I can definitely agree as a fellow warrior that the battle with your mind and your physical being at the same time, and also trying to figure out what are the tools you need to help you rebuild and identify depression. You have to identify it in order to seek help and get wellness in your life. So I definitely can identify with break and it's a bruise. And I definitely thank you for sharing these poems with us.
Yes, thank you. So the next one that I marked was Bang, and this is for this is about a relationship, and it's something about someone that has been close to you and they hurt you unexpectedly, but it wasn't physically, and it was with their words. So it's called Bang. Words can hurt you more than physical pain. When those around you don't understand, when tension is high, your mouth can be the last resort to turn someone down. They can load a gun with their thoughts and feelings, pulling back the trigger, aiming for your heart, and bang. Within seconds, you're bleeding, wounded, trying to mend the damage that someone you loved caused. Bleeding out on the floor, the thoughts and pain flow from where the gun wound entered, directly into your heart. No air to breathe, no room to forgive. Closing your eyes to the deception from the person who knows you all too well, standing behind the gun. Bang. I feel like a lot of people might have been in situations where they were really close with someone, and out of nowhere, they might have hurt you, or they might have ended the relationship, and that can be really hurtful. And I feel like sometimes you have to have the necessary tools to work through those type of situations, or reevaluate yourself. Yeah.
Definitely. And even though you may end a relationship, it doesn't hurt any less.
Hmm.
So we have to give ourselves time and space to grieve.
Exactly. Or just grace about what happened. So yeah.
True, true.
Okay. So the next poem is called Suffocating, and I actually have a drawing here, but it's called Suffocating. And I feel like with chronic illness, sometimes we notice the people around us and how they are living their life and how they're able to just, kind of have like not carefree, but they're not walking around in this pain. So I wrote this poem, and it's called Suffocating. Some days it's hard to believe, let alone walk. How do you walk when you no longer have nowhere to go? How are you supposed to smile when there is nothing that brings you happiness? Pain is something that is not unfamiliar to me. I live with it. I struggle with it. And sometimes it consumes me. My body aches for an escape while my mind is trapped in a continuous cycle of defeat. I have yet to find a way to be pain free, and maybe there isn't. Suffocating. And then Resilient is the first book that I have illustrations, and I did a lens for this one, if you could see it.
Move it slightly to your right for us, please. Oh, perfect. And then bring it in a little bit.
Let me take off the blur.
Yes.
If I can. I don't know if I can.
If you go to your settings and then go to your background, it might
Mm,
be under more at the bottom of your screen.
I don't see it.
But if you hold it just there, we can see a picture of it.
I'm trying.
Oh, no worries. Just ease back, maybe. Oh, perfect. Whoops. I think yeah, the blur is.
The blurs. There you
And
go.
lift it up slightly. There we go.
Can you see it? Not really.
It's
The
coming in
blur is messing up.
blur, yes, but I do see a nice
There it is.
symmetrical picture of your lungs.
Okay. But yes, you kind of get the point. Um, Moving on. So the next poem that I have is called When People First Meet Me. Um, Having a chronic illness, people tend to either get it or they don't. And that could be hard with a friendship, a relationship, or just being an acquaintance with someone. So I wrote this poem because I think sometimes it's hard to meet people and for them to understand being chronic pain and just what it takes or what you go through every day. So when people first meet me, I've been told that I'm not someone who is easy to figure out. I think this is because I'm not really sure myself. I've experienced a lot of things at such a young age. I'm really just trying to piece anything together. When people first meet me, I hope they feel the pain behind my eyes, the scars that I hide, the tears that I have cried, and the things that I wish I could unsee. Pain is something that demands to be felt. Scars show your battle wounds to those around you, and tears taste like salt because they feel just as bitter when they are released. And our thoughts are what hold us captive from truly being free. When people first meet me.
I really like that line. Pain demands to be felt. There's no
Yeah.
option there. You have to go through that process.
I highlighted that on the side. The pain demands to be felt. Because there's no escaping what your body is feeling, for sure. Okay, so the next poem that I wanted to share is Invincible. So it is about, walking a fine line between warriors or those that have chronic pain. We're feeling like we're unstoppable because, we have good days and, we can do a lot. But at the same time, we're always overcoming obstacles, or we're always in the hospital or doing something that, might not feel like we're invincible, or doing things that we feel like we can't. So that is what makes us resilient, but at the same time, it can be really hard mentally. So this poem is called Invincible. Do you ever feel like you're invincible? That in this moment, nothing can stop you from anything you want? I feel this way sometimes, but it's hard to conserve. The moment it happens, it's gone. Comparing my happiness to tears and pain, constantly trying to overcome something that is a part of me, experiencing pain without any warning, drawing the line between when to suffer or swallow more pills, all while trying to battle an underlying issue that every pill I take has a side effect. Invincible.
It is a bit of a tightrope there, isn't it? Between you're battling, your mental state, your physical state, and you're also trying to think, is this a good time to take my medication? Do I push through? So I definitely, I'm sure our community can definitely sympathize and empathize with that tightrope. It's a thin line.
Exactly. Like, just trying to think, okay, like if I take the medication or if I don't, yes, it's always a mental understanding of what do I do in this moment. So, yeah. Okay, so this next poem is called How Are You Feeling? And I feel like this is like the million dollar question that every chronic illness person gets. And I'm like, please, like, don't ask me. Like, it changes every minute and I never know how to answer it. So I was like, let me just write a poem. Okay, like if
The
you ask
loaded
me,
question, right?
I'm gonna just send you this poem. So here is the poem called How Are You Feeling? This is the million-dollar question that I get asked too often. I guess you would expect that having a chronic illness, right? But the thing that really bothers me with this question is how I'm supposed to answer it. Society has trained us to be uncomfortable with the truth, and it has replaced it with being comfortable with pleasing others. So we say I'm fine when we could be close to a breakdown, or I'm okay because it's easier than explaining how we are truly feeling. I'm tired of constantly experiencing this question that I can't fully answer. It's not that simple. To completely answer it, it would take a whole evaluation of my pain, thoughts, and emotions. But who has the time for that? So I end with this final thought. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, it is difficult because you want to answer truthfully, but you also, I like that you said, the comfort of others, because that's something that we tend to mask, right? We want to make sure that everyone else is feeling fine, but
Mhm.
it's, they asked us the question, and we're concerned about their feelings.
Yes,
So it
exactly.
definitely is um, a balance of how much do you share, when do you share, and are you okay sharing at that moment? Because sometimes when someone asks how you're feeling, maybe it's not the appropriate time for you to express how you're feeling.
Right. And how would it make them feel if you really told them the truth? You know, like they'd be like, "Really? Like you feel like that?" Yeah. So it's a tricky question. I feel like for chronic illness. So the next one is called moments, and I feel like we all have moments that are stored in our long term or short term memory. And for people with chronic pain, sometimes we don't really want things to be stored because we have experienced, things that have been like trauma triggered, and we have either not worked through it or we're trying to work through it. So we have a lot of heightened moments. So it can be hard when you are constantly in and out of the hospital dealing with different doctors. And I think this poem kind of emulates this. So it's called Moments. Moments are things that you are supposed to hold on to and cherish. There are moments that don't feel real because they're too good to be true. These are the moments that I never want to end. Then there are things then there are nights where I can't sleep. My back is screaming with agonizing pain that radiates from within, and I can't help but force tears from my eyes. These are the moments that I wish never existed, yet they last forever. This is my life, and it continues to hurt, break me down, push me past my breaking point, then hit repeat. Moments.
That's awesome because even when we don't want to remember, our body remembers, right?
hmm Yes, it's like, oh, that spot in your back. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Um, so this next poem is a little deep. It's called "Take a Shower," and this is something we do every day, right? We take a shower every other day, um, and I say it's deep or hard for me to talk about is because this was something I was told to do to help with my urge for self harm. They told me to take a shower to try to decrease the need of self harm from the sensation of the shower. So this poem is trying to help emulate this in this poem. Take a shower. This was the first thing I was told to cope with the urge of self harm. The water sensation stimulates a different response and changes your urges. Depression presents itself in different ways. It is not a monster that hides under your bed. It's bolder. It hides within you, knows all your secrets, and tells you lies that makes you turn into a person you hate. How to destroy something that is in how to destroy something that is intertwined with all the good and bad parts of you. You learn how to tame your thoughts, the beast within, become stronger every day, and you're able to turn down the voices inside your head. Take a shower.
I like how you illustrate that, your therapist offered you a tool, but it's also still difficult, even though you have a tool in your toolbox, to have that sensation of the shower to hopefully help to lower or desensitize the feeling for self harm.
Mhm.
And it really is a constant battle.
Yeah, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that have that um, that urge or something that they might be working through. And the fact that you bring it up or you're willing to talk about it is the first step. So I was wanted to be very vulnerable and talk about that. That was something that I had to work through as well.
Definitely transparent, and like you said, that the vulnerability brings the reader in.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so the next poem is a little bit lighthearted. It's called Front Row Seat. And this is the ability to be able to just be a fly on the wall of somebody young, innocent, growing up, and being able to see their life being transformed as they grow up. I'm very close with my nieces, and this poem is trying to emulate being able to see them grow up. So this is called a front row seat. Innocence, love, and happiness, a bundle of joy, climbs into your arms with thick eyelashes, big brown eyes, and a smile, instantly holding your heart forever. A love that you could only imagine is now in your presence. Hope, faith, laughter. She is smarter than we have yet to discover, inventing, observing all that is around, holding close those she loves, while sharing her heart with no doubt about anything she does. All, although her time on this earth hasn't been long, there is so much life within her soul. She is going to grow up to be something no one could ever fathom. I'm just glad I have a front row seat to this show. Front row seat.
That's great because you show the transition from, thinking of self harm and thinking about ways to combat that and to have healing, and then you bring us into a more, like you say, lighthearted and jovial aspect, because not all sickle cell experiences are negative experiences, right? We have a lot of
Mhm.
positive experiences, and it's nice that if you just close your eyes and while you're reading that poem, you can take yourself back to a moment and your history, a warrior's history, and say, oh, I remember when my niece or my nephew brought such joy. And you're able to look towards the future and in a positive way, and
Yeah.
look forward to our generation. Who knows, they might be the next pioneer for a cure.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I want to continue to give the readers hope
Hope.
that, even though we're going through this battle of pain, or, you might be in a doubt of depression, that just look around you, look at your family and see that, you can still get through it. Like, hold on to your support, hold on to the things that give you joy, because you can do it. And that was my thing, like holding on to those around me.
And it's nice that when you're holding your niece, she doesn't have that jaded point of view. She's just
Mhm.
experiencing you, and you're experiencing her in just pure joy and love.
Exactly. Yes. I love that. So the next poem is called Know Your Worth. And sometimes I feel like whether it's in a relationship or whether you're going through things within your family that don't understand, or even within advocacy, or in a hospital meeting or something, the doctor doesn't understand. Well, you don't need that, or like, knowing your worth within any situation is very valuable. And I think as warriors, or anybody that is going through something, that they should know that they are valued in every situation. So this poem talks about an individual that was going through something really difficult, and I was seeing it from the other side, that I was wanting them to just know that they are valued. So it's called Know Your Worth. Tears run down the side of your cheek. I can see the fear in your eyes. You're tired of being hurt, the pain that the men cause you, the lies they tell you about yourself. Constantly, you put yourself in these positions that I still don't understand. I know you want more for yourself, a different life that you have yet to grasp. You have yet to change your destiny, making endless mistakes based on your imperfections and what you think you're worth. You're more than what you see. The lies are not true, and the path is about to change. The door shuts, and I'm closed off from the destruction that continues to be your life. Let me in so I can see what you bottle up. Tell me your fears and your hopes. Let's dream together. No pain, no more tears. It's time to truly know your worth and start to heal our wounds. Know your worth.
Excellent. Monica Bass is giving you hand claps.
Well, thank you. Okay, I'm almost coming to the end. Um, so this poem is very simple, but it has a lot of meaning behind it, and I kind of talked about it earlier, and it's called I'm Fine. Now, I think as a chronic illness community, we tend to brush off some of our feelings because we might not want to explain exactly what our pain is or why we're feeling bad. And because we might not want to go to the hospital, or we don't want to deal with everything that our body is actually telling us, and we just want to take a medication and lay down. But this poem kind of emulates, I'm fine, but are you? So it's called I'm Fine. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I wrote that very simple poem, but I'm trying to get at most of us say we're fine and we really aren't. And I want us to open up a conversation, whether it's our family, our doctors, and say, you know what, I'm not fine. Can you help me? Can you truly give me this mental health resource, or can you give me more help within my education, because the teacher's not really helping me at all. Like, open up the door for a conversation when you're not really fine, because it can just continue to pile on, and that's what I'm trying to open up conversation.
Definitely, you think about that. It's like in just that one sentence, you have to think: Is this a safe space? Is this a good time? All
Mm-hmm.
that goes through your mind all before you answer. But you say, be courageous, take that step forward, and
Yes,
let us know you're not fine.
yes, because that can lead to more opportunities to actually being okay when you're not.
Exactly. Healing or tools or a
Mhm.
conversation, just a word of affirmation, even.
Yes, exactly. So I want to share one last poem, and this is called The Grim Reaper. And
Genesis, your screen froze.
okay, this poem is. Are you
Oh, okay, now we're good.
okay? That was it. Okay, got it. So, The Grim Reaper, this poem is a hidden metaphor of the darkness, or the pain behind sickle cell, and how at any moment, unfortunately, it can end your life. Um, and that's just due to the pain or the things that we as warriors experience. So I came up with this poem. It's called The Grim Reaper. He has a sharp pain that never quite went away, but he was a sharp pain that never quite went away, but there was just but was there just to remind you that he was never going to leave. The sickle-shaped blood was the weapon of his choice, and in any instance you would be at his mercy. Darkness, draining your energy, fading pain, coming in waves, weakness and waning. Let go of me, or will this be the death of this person I used to be? Years and years of coming after me with endless pain, instances of near defeat. Who knew that haploid identical would be here to slay the one they call the Reaper of sickle cell disease? For no longer will my life belong to thee, the Grim Reaper.
That's awesome because you start with this is a painful experience, but you end up with there's a cure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great, Genesis. Well, you have perfect timing. We're going to open up the floor for questions and comments. Yeah, you're muted, Dr. Riley.
Thank you. Hey there, Genesis. This is Dr. Rowley. So I a couple of things. So we have now a running joke with my friend and colleague, Dr. Bailey, who's thinking I'm a nerd, but part of it is I like haikus. And so I wanted to, with your one saying, "Hi, I'm okay," I was trying to count to see, and it wasn't quite 575. So I was wondering, have you attempted to do haikus as well?
I have. I have
Oh,
a few
okay.
that are haikus. They're not in Resilient, but they're in Rebirth, my first volume. There's a
Oh,
few.
okay. Oh, wow. Okay, we definitely have to get that. Wonderful. By chance, do you happen to have the first volume nearby so that we
I
can?
I do.
Oh,
Yes.
we're gonna have this is very delightful.
We're in for a treat.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, it just came up. I believe this is a haiku. The Gray. Do you want me to read the haiku? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Um, this one is, I believe this. I was told that this is a haiku. You have to tell me.
Well, so yes, 575. So there's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
No, that one's not it.
Okay.
575.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find it. I know that I have one,
Okay.
but
Cool.
it's in this one. It's in Rebirth.
Oh, good. Okay. I was going to ask, um, and so can we see the cover of the Resilient? That's
Oh,
Rebirth.
Resilient.
Uh-huh.
It has all my stickies, but here's
Oh, wow. Okay. And where can we purchase those? Where are they located?
both of these are on Amazon.
Okay. Wonderful. And then the other one is, by chance, did you get one of your poems into our poetry contest?
You know, I did not. I didn't. I didn't have
Okay.
time.
Okay. So maybe for the next contest, that would be great.
Yes.
And so I wanted to comment on Hi, how are you? I think that was the name of it, or How are you? And I heard the conversation. So I think as a fellow warrior, well, just myself as a person, I believe in being very conscious of words because they're powerful to be the trajectory of how you want to feel as well. So, for instance, I do feel blessed all the time, in spite of various moments, correct? And and that's not being this Pollyannish person, but sometimes you say, "I'm blessed," because you are, but that isn't the full description as you're stating, because there could be other things. Because people don't really say, "So how are you? What's going on? Let's dig deeper." And if they really want to know, then you can share. Um, I'm having some pain. I'm at an 8. But no one just starts off like that. And it's like you said, you say, "I'm fine," which is similar to "I'm blessed," because I am. The fact that I can say I'm blessed and I'm here, alive, breathing, I am blessed. And so I think for myself, you're right, you have to kind of gauge. So when's the right time to be able to share with someone that, you know what, I'm actually managing some pain right now and it's about a 7 and or an 8, and I have to figure out that fine line of staying home and managing or going to the hospital and dealing. Or you can just say, "I'm fine," or "I'm blessed."
I love that. I think that's a really different perspective. I like the saying "I'm blessed" instead of, like you said, the "I'm fine," because we're truly all blessed to wake up and breathing God's air or in his from his lungs. So I love that. And like you said, just gauging what you want to share versus what not. I truly believe that. So thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. And Renee, I think there might be some comments or questions. And I think while you're checking that, I just want to give a shout out to Etta. So Etta knows how I feel. Etta is ever. Etta is everywhere. And so appreciate you so much being here earlier, Authors Corner, at our mental health and wellness on Sunday. And so thank you so, so much. And then just giving another shout out to all the others who have joined us, Monica and Raina, Jacqueline. This is so great. Thank you. And you're muted, Renee. You're muted.
I used to a different format. I was like, I gotta get used to this. Let's see here. Raina says, "You are fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing." Jacqueline Walton says, from I was able to hear from the poem Suffocating Forward. Beautiful words." And Monica Bass says, "Enjoyed immensely."
Very much so.
Oh, Monica also mentions that she's also a spoken word artist.
So I wanted to say, so this is your Resilient is your second book, correct?
Yes,
So
correct.
share with us a little bit more about the first and the second and the process and the dates. And the beautiful thing about this Authors Corner, I think everyone has a book in them. I want Renee to actually share her journey as well. But everyone doesn't go through the process. They may not trust that what they have to say, people may want to hear, or even, but it is a journey to get from thinking it to writing it to publishing to selling it. And so, can you share with us your journey?
Yes. Um, so starting with Rebirth, I was, thanks, Monica. So I intentionally did not have a book that I was writing. This writing for me is just a form of therapy. So I just write as I go, and whatever I feel in the moment, I write because it's therapeutic for me. But one day, me and my grandma looked up and I had over like 200 poems, and they are good poems. And she was like, you gotta share these. And that's when I started to look up and seeing how I could share it. And Elle Cole was a really great mentor for me, and she helped me. She helped me with the process. So I feel really blessed to be able to share these with you guys and the chronic illness community, and it's been amazing. It's really helping a lot of people. So I feel really great to have these out.
And Renee, can you share? I don't think you've shared that. If everyone knows as well, um, Renee's journey and what that was like for you working with Agnes.
Oh boy, I accepted, and then I went through surgery, so maybe that wasn't the the best point part to do, but it was a challenge accepted, and it was a very fruitful experience. It was tough at times because, like I said, I was battling recovering from surgery, but rewriting and rewriting. You think you have like 6 volumes, and then you're trying to pare it down to 500-600 words or 5,000 words. It's definitely a journey, and you definitely have to have the mental space, the bandwidth to sit down and deal with. I mean, so many of your poems I identified, the Grim Reaper and your worst. You go through some of that you don't, like you said, the body memory and one of your poems you don't want to remember. So a lot of that goes into writing, and you just have to give yourself space and permission to go back there and know that you've come transitioned into another self, evolving and healing. So you don't always have to stay, sometimes when you experience something traumatic, you tend to stay in that point, but it's nice to have that, it's cathartic to write about it and to have other warriors and community at large just to think, oh, wow, I experienced something the same and was able to overcome. So your poems are greatly motivational for us and to us as warrior to warrior, and like you say, people with chronic illness to give us hope. And that's we have a book that's a tool in our toolbox now. So to answer Dr. Riley's question, it was a lot of up and down, a lot of help from my friends and family to edit. So it was. You think it's going to be easy, and it starts out, and you're like, maybe I don't want to do this. So I think I quit like 20 times, but eventually, I was able to get a couple of words on the page, so it worked out fine. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
And I wanted to ask Genesis. So I noticed that you have illustrations.
Yeah.
And is that in both books?
No. So Rebirth is just the poetry. Of course, I have QR codes in both, but Rebirth has the QR codes, and Resilient has both the QR codes and mental health resources and illustrations.
And did you illustrate those?
I did not, but me and the illustrator, we worked together to kind of, I came up with the mental concept of it, and he illustrated them from what we talked about. So he did a great job. It's actually Elle's husband. He's a illustrator. So
Okay, now, Mr. Cole.
yes.
All right, I know. All right. So it sounds like um, you wrote, you had the poem, you had the visualization, and now having to translate that visualization to someone. Did he have your poem to also work off of as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so he had that. Oh, all right now. So we have to get Mr. Cole more knee deep into the sickle cell community. Wonderful. Is there a third book inside of you?
Yes, now that you ask, I'm working on my third book. It's actually going to be a children's book. So I'm really excited. This is actually the first book that I have not. It's not already prepared, so I'm writing it as I go. And since it's going to be children's, I have to kind of work on the literature of not having it so adult content, and I'm gonna trying to find a different illustrator for the children content. So I'm excited. It's going to be a nice project to work on.
Excellent. How wonderful is that? And so, is this going to be your journey, or is this something that you do as you continue with therapy, wellness, and healing? Um, Meaning, is there something else that you actually do in terms of that you choose to um, accomplish?
Yes, so this will be something that I continue to do on the side. My overall goal is to, I am waiting to get accepted into my master's program. My goal is to be a licensed professional counselor where I can work with children and families within the mental health space for chronic illness. So I'm on my path for that.
Well, this will definitely be a tool you can use as you're practicing we'll be looking forward to your graduation and say, here's our new commission.
Thank you.
Genesis, where do you reside? Where are you located?
I am in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Are you going to have an opportunity to go to the convention this year since it's
Yes,
in your own backyard?
yes. Me and my grandma will be going to the convention, and we will both be speaking on the curative therapy panels.
Okay, wonderful. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my grandma, she was my caregiver for my transplant, and I am almost 3 years post transplant for the sickle cell, and 2 years for the cancer. And it's been a journey, but I'm very grateful and feel blessed to be at this point. And it's been great to be able to work with the consortium. I think this is my third time that I'll be speaking on the curative therative panel, and I'm really excited that they're continuing to do this panel because I know so many people are excited and have questions about the curative therapy aspect. So my unique story with the sickle cell and cancer, I think people really gravitate towards my story. So it's cool.
And thank you for sharing that because I think more and more people don't realize that having sickle cell does not preclude you from having anything else, though we would hope it does, but it does not. And so I think people, particularly those who do have more than one um, type of diagnoses, whether it's sickle cell and diabetes, sickle cell and asthma, sickle cell and lupus, and also sickle cell and cancer. So, cancer, it doesn't matter what you have, cancer is its own beast. And so, I was thinking we probably need to have something more where people talk about that because I think there's more people than we realize who have actually survived cancer. Um, People tend to focus on the sickle cell though, but I think so that people, when they get that diagnosis, that they don't feel it's just them or that they actually feel alone. And so I've met, didn't know that you did, so thanks for revealing. There's others that I know who have actually gone through cancer and they're, a survivor. I think it happens more and more. I think it just does. And it would be great for us to kind of have a conversation and invite people to share their story to let them know you're not alone. It may appear that way because we don't really hear about it.
No, you don't. And, I thought I was an anomaly, like, because I don't hear about it. And I would be interested to have more of a conversation about that because it is so, it's not like hush hush. It's just like we don't talk about it. Like, and I think there should be more, just more of an open conversation that it can happen and it does happen.
You're correct. And I'm going to have full transparency. I am, I think everyone knows I'm an adult person with sickle cell disease, but I'm also a cancer survivor. And I survived breast cancer, and that was in 2011, 2012. I know it doesn't come up. So you just don't meet someone saying, hey. And so, yeah, I don't think about that because when you survive, it's no longer there, right? But with sickle cell, it's there. Not unless you've been transformed, such as yourself, it's there. So I think those conversations don't come up, but the idea just came to me that we're going to have something like that, calling all persons who have gone through something like cancer and to share that story because I think we can learn from that as well.
I couldn't agree more. Yes. And thanks for sharing that. I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many people, meaning not that I hide it, it just doesn't
Mm,
actually come up in conversation. And so, and that was quite a journey, actually.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're wanting to hear your questions and comments. And all right, Renee, are you monitoring and want to share what's happening?
Yes, oh, we have it up here. You see what Monica says about having avascular necrosis, and I'm not sure what is it, vasculoid cystitis and anxiety.
Yes, anemic, vasculopathy, interstitial uh, cystitis, and anxiety, meaning there's a list of a variety of other diagnoses, not just the one, but many of us have to manage more than one, including mental health on top of that, like she mentioned, the anxiety. So I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. And I'm not sure what the other, um, Monica, you mentioned something about survival. Not sure what, oh, praises for survival. Thank you. Yes, very much so. Wow. Okay. And so, again, this is, if you guys have not already registered, register for the Warriors Convention. And it's happening next week. And you can join virtually or uh, drive down or fly down to Houston to join. It's going to be wonderful. It always is. Following that, that's just next week. And in 2 months, in September, Cayenne Wellness Center will have our 17th annual, but it's 15th annual Sickle Cell Disease Educational Seminar Summit. And we're highlighting the giants and the pioneers and the visionaries. So you're not going to want to miss that. And so we're speaking with Genesis, moderated by Renee. We're going to bring everyone back as we wind down and as we wind down for the afternoon on a Friday, for everyone to continue to keep cool. As I'm hearing that there's this heat wave going across the whole band of the U.S. But Genesis, this has been great. And I think it's interesting. We all hear each other's names in this community. Um, really enjoy the people in the community. It was my pleasure to have met you and look forward to book three. I will not be present in person, but I look forward to being there virtually and hearing your story. Renee, great moderating. I'm going to um, allow you to have final words, allow Genesis, and then I will allow us to say goodbye for the afternoon. Renee, thoughts and comments?
Oh, just wonderful. I was able to hear you speak, I believe, at the Mark Thomas support group. Um, just your poetry just is very moving, whether you have sickle cell or you don't, but especially it's meaningful to us warriors. And we just thank you for your transparency, your vulnerability, and your words illustrate how we feel. You know, the waves, and coming in waves, and taking that shower to help you move through that part of the depression that you're feeling, and giving your therapist giving you tools to help you. All that is very necessary information for us to hear, and we just thank you for being vulnerable and transparent and just a lovely author. And I do look forward to seeing you in Texas virtually.
Renee, thank you. And just to let everyone know, we can always, isn't it wonderful when you meet someone and you can always count on that person? And Renee is that person. And so, seriously, in California, she's a gem for us. And so, thank you for stepping in and moderating. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Genesis, um, final words. Oh, and by the way, I want to know about that haiku.
I will get that to you. I promise.
Thank you. Thank you. Final
Yes.
words.
Thank you both, Dr. Rowley and Renee, for allowing me to share not only a little bit more about my journey and story, but my book. Well, both of my present a little bit about my books. And yeah, I just want to say that I feel that we as warriors, we are so intricate and, not only physically, but mentally. And, I started out with Rebirth, which was about the pain and the transplant journey. And I was so excited to share Resilient because it focused on the mental health and the relationships that you can experience throughout your life. So I'm so glad that you guys allowed me to share a little bit more about different poems, and I'm really glad that it's helping the chronic illness community, and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing to hear your names and work with you guys a little bit more. And just thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you. And everyone. So, thank you. This has been Kayan Wellness Center's Arthur's Corner featuring Genesis Jones and moderated by Renee. And so we're thankful that you joined us, and we're going to turn you back over to your Friday afternoon. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Until next time, thank you.